we have about 3 speakers, but we still have other people who are also here that might want to contribute one way or the other towards this program as well. Then before I move on to that, I would like to introduce myself as your host for tonight. My name is Tolashe Jayoba, and a lot of people call me Mr. T. I am with an organization called Community Issues and Concerns. With community issues and concerns, we create awareness into different issues in the community. And what we do with that, we also invite experts into the discussion, into the awareness, for them to be able to give us in-depth knowledge about the issues and provide solution. And tonight, I will also be hosting with you with another colleague of mine who is Dr. Ati. Dr. Ati, could you please introduce yourself? I would like to see your face if possible. Okay, that's good. So, yeah.
If you can see me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the program. My name is Ati. Thank you all for coming.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So at this junction, because of our time, we are 15 minutes gone already. So tonight, like I said previously, I will be having discussion around the importance of having life insurance in our households. Why is so? And the major reason why we have decided to put this together tonight is because recently we've been getting a lot of bad news, should I just put it that way, with some of our members, the community members, losing their loved ones. And we thought, and we have seen, when this happened, the next thing we see is GoFundMe. So we decided that, okay, what do we have to do in order to support and help the community? So we now have the idea of having to bring experts to talk about the importance of we having life insurance. And well, I don't want to really say too much around this because I've got my expert at home. And at this junction, I will be happy to start introducing our speakers to us, one after the other, which I believe everyone is already here. So if okay, this is how we do it. If I mention any speaker's name, I'll be happy if they can just quickly introduce themselves and just tell us in under 1 minute who they are, what they do. I would like to introduce to us Prince Adedapo Araromi. Prince Adedapo Araromi. Okay, I've seen his name. Probably is not on set at the moment, so I will come back to that. So he might need to introduce himself later. All right, can I also introduce to us Mr. Akinwale Olugbade? Mr. Akinwale Olugbade.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. Please,
Good
can we meet you?
sir. Yeah, it's a pleasure here as well, sir. My name is Mr. Akinwale Olugbade, and it's a great honor to be part of this group, and in terms of educating our people about the benefit and things that we can contribute to our community as well. I work I'm an advisor with a company called Tavistock Protect. I've been in the industry for 14 years. So this is the top company that I'm working with as a broker and one of the area sales manager as well. And it is something that I've worked with all the communities and churches just to educate our people about the benefit of insurance and things like that. So, and I'm happy to be here to contribute and to educate people, to advise people on various options that they have. So thank you so much, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir. If I'm moving to introduce Dr. Tony Adebanjo. Dr. Tony, I believe you are here with us. Oh,
can you see me?
Oh, yes, we can see you and we can hear you clearly.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, host. My name is Dr. Tony Adetokunbo Adebanjo. I'm currently working with a local authority in London, and I'm a service manager for that local authority. I worked in insurance company for so many years back. That was 1981 to probably 1984 with Pacific Insurance Company. And I'm currently a partner with Ultimate Health Management Services based in London. Based in Abuja. I've got good tidings for you today. That's why I'm here. I'm happy to be here with you. We've got what is called the diaspora program that I'll be talking to you about. Aside from the life insurance policy that I'm going to really touch on, I'm going to be telling you other things you can do to help your family back in Nigeria. So I'm looking forward to participating fully in this conversation. And thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome, sir. How can I now move back to Prince Adedapo Araromi? I don't know if he's back.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh, there you are, sir. You're welcome. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening to you. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for bringing this to bear. Your high esteemed president. I really appreciate this for being invited. My name's Prince Adedapo Araromi. Of course, I've been in this industry now for, wow, gosh, almost a decade and a half, if not more. I'm a seasoned financial advisor. I don't only advise on insurance, I'm a certified CMAP. I advise on mortgages too as well. I know the specific area we're here is for insurance. So I'm here to kind of educate our people, as I've always been doing, to make sure that we bring the important information to them, so that it won't be a bit too late for us to want to. It's best to be proactive. So that's why I'm here, to do what I know how to do best, and alongside all other speakers that they've introduced themselves. So once again, thank you for this wonderful, great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to a very good time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. Oh, yes. So those are our three special guests, our speakers for tonight. We always refer to them as the experts. Yes, because what we do is anytime we pick on any subject to discuss, we call on the experts to come on board, talk to us about it. And because the reason why we call them the expert is because they are specialists, and it's their area of expertise. So that is why. But before we start proper, I would also like to invite somebody who is also to introduce somebody who is also a very good friend. In fact, we've been on this for quite a while, but he said he will be happy to be here as well. And I've seen him here with us. He's the person of Mr. Tony Dosumo. Mr. Tony Dosumo, I can see you. Please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Dosumo. I am a hospital chaplain. I work with the NHS. And it is from what I have seen in the course of my work that I decided to go into financial protection. People need a lot of awareness. So it's my pleasure to be here this evening. It's a privilege. It takes visionary leaders, caring leaders like Mr. Tolashe to organize programs like this. It's someone that cares for his people, that wants them to be knowledgeable, that wants to feel vacuum, that what people should do and they're not doing it. So I'm happy that you have organized this. Also, I work for Tavistock Protect. I am a financial consultant, and my presence here this evening is actually to support a senior colleague, a financial guru that I work closely with, Mr. Akinwale Olugbade, who is actually going to do the presentation. But the key thing is that I want to encourage everyone that is on this program to listen carefully and take it on board and think deep about it. It's not everybody that hears that will take a step, but I'm encouraging everyone that is part of this program to please, please, please. Mr. Tolashe has put a lot of efforts into this. I'm happy to be part of the planning, and I'm happy that this is taking place. So please don't let his efforts be in vain. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome on board. So Mr. Dosomo has been very good friend and very close. Should I refer to him as a family member. He's somebody that I respect so much. Thank you very much. And thanks for being here with us as well.
Thank you.
Yes, as it is. In fact, he'll be doing a lot of things here. He will observe. He's ready to support in any way that we ask him to. Yes, coming. All right. So because of time, what we'll do is we've decided to allow all the speakers to give us the presentation for 30 minutes. 30 minutes because of time. And the way it is after the presentation, we have a lot of people here and more people are still going to be coming in. And we know that at the end of the presentation, everybody will have one or the other question to ask. And that is then we'll be throwing the questions to our guest speakers. And like I always say, I call them the experts. So they are here to solve all the issues. They are here to answer all our questions we've got. We also have got some questions to throw at them as well. And I believe by the end of the day, we will, the meeting will benefit all of us. So if I call on Dr. Tony to please let me, because he said he would like to share a screen. Okay, Dr. Tony, I've opened up the Dr. Tony, are you with us? I can't see you.
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. So
I'm just trying to check my phone. No, I haven't got the slide anymore. So you didn't come back to me about the slide. So I haven't got.
Oh, I thought I told you that it's
no,
okay. You can go
no,
on with it.
You didn't come back to me. I'm just gonna say.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
But I've got my script in front of me.
Okay.
Thank you. I won't be delving too much into the insurance policy per se, but I'll be talking much about the diaspora program that is looking after our loved ones back in Nigeria. Good evening, everyone. And I must thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak on this subject, the importance of life insurance policy at all. My name is Tony Adetokunbo Adebanjo. I'm a partner at the Ultimate Health Management Services with headquarters in Abuja. I said that earlier on. Ultimate Health Management Services has a capital base of 1 billion naira. Even though the government of Nigeria requirement for all HMOs in Nigeria, it's 750 million naira. We raised the bar last couple of weeks to 1 billion, which makes us extremely secure as the insurance company in Nigeria. I'll be talking more about Ultimate Health Management Services and how the diaspora can benefit from the packages in the course of my submission this evening. Now, let's go to the subject matter. Life insurance policy. What is it all about? My understanding of life insurance policy is having a safety net for your loved ones. It provides financial protection in case something unexpected happens to the people you love most. That is your family members, your children, your wife, etc. By paying regular premiums, you ensure that your family is taken care of. Financially, if the unfortunate happens, say for example, a demise, you pass away, something is there to look after their financial needs while you are away, or while my partner probably is away. There are different types of life insurance policy, and I'm sure the experts, like you said, will be dwelling more into that afterwards. There are basically different types of policies, but I'm going to be mentioning two. We have the term life and the whole life, each with its own features and benefits. It's a way to give your family peace of mind and security for the future. What is term life? Term life insurance is like the short-term deal where you pay premiums for a specific period, usually 10, 20, 30 years. If something happens to you during this time, your beneficiaries get a payout. So for example, I have 30 years plus 50, which is 80, and something happened to me within that period. The beneficiaries get a big payout from that policy. It is temporary and focuses on providing coverage for a specific period. Once the time ends, you can choose to review the policy or explore other options. It is a good way to ensure your loved ones are protected during crucial times. Now I'm going to the whole life insurance. The whole life insurance is like a long-term commitment where you pay premiums for your whole life. It is more permanent and provides coverage until you pass away. With whole life insurance, there is a cash value component that grows over time, which you can use while you're alive. It is a bit more expensive than term life insurance, but offers lifelong protection and a saving element. It is all about securing your loved ones' future and having some financial stability along the way. Please note also that if your life insurance policy has a cash value, this is very important. There are ways to use money from that account while you're alive, so you can still draw the money while you're alive. Some policies have living benefits that will also allow you to claim cash while you're still alive. I have some statistics for you. A study by LIMRA and Life Happens shows that in 2023, the percentages of people who reported having life insurance increased to 52%. I'm talking about UK now, up from 35% in the previous year. Despite 6 in 10 households agree that LIP will benefit, that is life insurance policy, will benefit their family. Over the past 12 years, there's been a decrease in overall life insurance ownership, dropping from 63% in 2011. There's a man called Vincent Guadagnino. I think the insurance expert here will know him. He's a big manager, senior one, at Direct Line Life Insurance. He said, and I'm going to quote what he said, "It is encouraging that most households see the benefit of holding a life insurance policy, but it is surprising how only 52% of people have taken one out. Our research suggests people expect it to be too expensive without even looking into the potential cost. Despite the cost of living crisis limiting household expenditure, many people are unaware that basic life insurance policies can be cheaper than many streaming services, magazine subscriptions, or gym membership. It can be very cheap for you. While we may avoid speaking about it, life insurance is there to give your family vital financial support if you passed on or were diagnosed with a terminal illness. whether that is covering mortgages, funeral costs, or other debts. It is sensible to think ahead and plan accordingly to make sure loved ones are cared for. So we encourage people to investigate a life insurance policy, not just for the sake of financial peace of mind, but also to take a smart choice when evaluating personal finances and discretionary spends. End of quote. Why are we not interested in life insurance and others? Because most people here on this platform, I can't say all of them, I'm sure some are here that haven't got life insurance policy yet. And I'm sure by the end of the day, it's something you're going to be looking at tomorrow morning when you go on your computer. Why are they not taking it up? I've got 5 points here. First, we underestimate the importance of having a safety net for our loved ones. We think it's too costly. That's the cost implications. Secondly, sometimes people also believe they're invisible and don't consider unexpected curveballs can happen to them. Education and awareness about the benefit of life insurance will definitely help, which is what you're actually putting together today to educate our people. The third one, you get nothing if you outlive your policy. Yes, sorry, I'm going to take some water. That is a fact. If you take the short time, yes, that's possible. But what happens if you buy a policy when you are 50 for 30 years of cover, only to turn 80 in good health? With term life insurance, you have two options here. So that should be discouraging you. You can roll over into another term or a whole life policy, or you can abandon cover entirely. The fourth point, the myth that life insurance companies don't always pay out. I used to have that at the back of my mind in the past as well. But 20 years ago, I used to think, oh, insurance don't pay out, it's a waste of money. The fifth point, you don't have any dependents. Some people don't have anyone to look after, so they don't bother about life insurance. Even if you have lived a solitary life and have no one around you to call a loved one, you can even choose to name a charity and the beneficiary of your policy. It is slightly more complex process, but it is doable. It's something you can do. You can still do it. You can help other people who haven't got people that love them when they pass on. This leads me, because I don't want to take much of your time, this leads me to the Diaspora Health Insurance Program for people who have dependents back home. It's by Ultimate Health Management Services. In the scheme of the global health coverage, interestingly, the diaspora community emerged as a crucial stakeholder, recognizing the significant contribution through remittances that we do make every year for medical services for our parents, our children back home, if you do have some back home. We observe that these funds are often not optimally used due to diversion to other basic needs. Say, for example, mom's sick back home, someone is calling, mom is sick, to take mom to the hospital, blah, 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 send some money, the money is taken for other things. The person is not even spending the whole money you send across to look after the sick mother. Now we develop a program everyone on this platform must take advantage of after my speech today. It's called For Your Peace of Mind. Ultimate Health Management Services Limited is a duly recognized company in Nigeria since set up December 2007, accredited by the National Health Insurance Scheme, now Authority NHIA, they coined in July 2009. At Ultimate Health HMO, we provide healthcare coverage and services with rich clinical and clerical knowledge and expertise in organizing financial and healthcare services to best serve specific needs. I have further statistics for you regarding Nigeria. In Nigeria, about 55% of the population lives in rural areas, and only 45% live in the urban areas. About 70% of the healthcare is provided by the private vendors in Nigeria, and only 30% by the government. About 70% of the drug dispensed in Nigeria are substandard. 82.7% of the health budget is spent on salaries, wages, and running offices. Shockingly, 10.9% is spent on the repairs, construction of healthcare facilities, and provision of drugs and medical equipment across the healthcare facilities in Nigeria. This is worrisome, and the choice is not yours. We have 5 types of policies that are competitive and will not break your bank account. We also have what is called a flexible pay methods. We have the Sapphire, individual policy and family. When you go to Nigeria, we got the Emerald, we got the Silver, and we got the geriatric plans. Geriatric plans is advised, I'd normally advise people rather, to take on this policy. This is a policy whereby when you take it down, when you take it from here, all the needs of your parents are catered for back home. They go to the best hospital. If they have an issue, they just call the number on their card and they'll pick them up to the best hospital near them. So they don't need to wait at the lobby in the hospital to get treated and wait there for 3 hours before they can be seen by a doctor. I can see the host now back. I don't want to take much more of your time. If you want more about these services that we do provide, my company provides, you can visit our website, www.ultimatehealthhmo.com/global. Or you can call me on 07956835092. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tony Adebanjo. Thank you for the presentation. Because of time, I would quickly like to go to Mr. Akinwale. Mr. Akinwale Olugbade. Are you here with me, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
All right. So you said you like to do a presentation, share your screen.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine, sir.
Okay, let me just make you the host. All right, there you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, now. Thank you so much for this opportunity again, sir, and everyone. Welcome, everyone. My name is Akinwale Olubade, and it's an opportunity to educate our people about the benefit of this, especially with what is going on in the UK right now, because a lot of people are coming in newly and all of that, and some of them are not aware of insurance so much. I mean, especially when you're coming from Nigeria, it's not, from Africa in general, it's not something that people are more aware of. So, but coming here, number one, I work with a company called Tavistock Protect, and I've been in the, in the business for 14 years. It's not a Nigerian company, and we're being regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority as well, in UK here. And we're licensed to advise people on different kind of policy, which is something I'm going to talk about. And we work with a best insurance company in the UK. We are open to all of them. So what we do really as an advisor is to advise you and to make recommendations based on individual needs. Okay. I'm sure we are aware of a company like Aviva, Guardian, Liverpool, Victoria, Vitality, Legal and General. We see all of them. So, right. So it's just about family, really. If you look at my PowerPoint here, you see those, 2 children and the husband and wife, which is fantastic. That's what we plan, to have in future. Now, even as a Christian, right? The Bible says a good man does what? Leaves inheritance for their children. And this is one of the testimony, like I got from one of my clients that the husband passed away last year, and they were so happy that they had the husband had a plan in place and they were able to claim. And I've done so many, since I started this business, because it's not just about advising people, it's about seeing that what you actually advise people are benefiting that, and it's putting a smile on their face. Okay. Now, I put this as in reasons you need life insurance. Okay, let's talk about life insurance here. Like I said, it's never fun. It's not a conversation that people like to have because, especially we Africa, from our understanding, once you mention that, people's notion is, oh, are you planning to kill me and stuff like that? But when you sit down with people like us, an expert like us, who has your best interest in mind, and you will find that life insurance is something that you not only need it, but truly want as well to protect yourself, your family, dependent, and your business and legacy. Why? You never know. People die suddenly, in an accident, by unexpected illness, or even of natural causes can happen at any time. And life insurance will help your loved ones to have to pay, their mortgage, bills, even college costs after you're gone. And it also will provide a tax-free cash to pay the estate and, debt duties. So nothing can actually replace you in their heart. But planning ahead with life insurance can make things easier for those who, you leave behind. Because basically, when we look at about 5 years ago, about, COVID-19, nobody ever planned for that. And it happens. We can imagine the number of people that passed away during those difficult periods. But people that have got insurance at the time, they were able to benefit from this. In fact, I lost 14 of my clients during the COVID, and they all, had a claim and it was successful and all of that. So it's about planning for unexpected, okay? Because you never know. If we can predict what will happen in the next 5 minutes, then we'll be able to prepare ahead. So nobody can predict about that. So it's about future, So reason to continue. Funeral are very expensive, especially in UK. At least now, if anyone dies now, we're looking at between 7,000 to 10,000. And we're not just talking about extravagant funeral services here. This is just an average cost of burial ceremony that will be faced by your loved ones. And they're already, they are going through a difficult and emotional time. So the life insurance that you have will cover these expenses without any financial hardship or further stress on them. Also, it will protect those that you love in your life, people that you claim to love. You want to make sure that you protect them. You work hard to make sure that those you love, your spouse, your partner, your children, family member, are well taken care of. And it's just as important to consider providing for financial support for the future living cost of their surviving. You're surviving dependent, and after all, the world have to go on without you. So we want to make sure that you are well protected as well. Debt shouldn't mean that debt life insurance can help your dependents cover any financial responsibilities that are left after your death as well. That can be a tremendous burden on top of the already emotional thought, your presence already creates, in their life. Because at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of people where people passed away and their children are the one now responsible for a lot of debt, a lot of things. It shouldn't be like that. And that's why we always encourage people to protect themselves and their loved ones so that when they die, whether they're there or not, there's always money to take care of so many things, Anything can happen if you develop any serious illness as well, which you may not be able to, to get life insurance, because a lot of people as well, could be diagnosed of anything. And if you don't have a life insurance, that might prevent you from getting a life insurance. That's what we're talking about. And that's why we always encourage people to take it earlier, because the earlier, the better, and the younger, the cheaper as well, So, another reason to have a life insurance is it will take care of your business, because a lot of business owners are here in this country that doesn't know that they need to have a life insurance. It's not just for an individual alone or as a family. It can also protect your business from financial loss liabilities and instabilities in the case of the death of a business owner or partner. So whether providing necessary short-term cash or keeping operation going until things settle, life insurance can be valuable in maintaining the business you've worked so hard to build as well. So which means as a business owner, you can actually protect yourself against that business. And the last one, which is just for the peace of mind, basically the purpose of life insurance that we're talking about to our bodies is for the sake of peace of mind, plain and simple. We know that no amount of money can ever replace a person, but more than anything, life insurance can help provide protection for the uncertainties in life. So it's always advisable to have a backup plan for life uncertainties. That is by starting to have a personal life insurance early. So as an advisor, we always help you to find the right insurance solution, even if you already have a life insurance. It's important to make sure that they are up to date and you review it from time to time. So while we can predict the weather, life remains unpredictable. So make sure we ensure that you and your family are well protected. Now, coming to this one, some of us may not think twice about insuring your car, your mobile phone, your television, your blender, and all of that. Because when you go to shop, the next thing they will be advising you to do is to protect it. And we don't think twice about it because we know that it's very important, right? Because we know that if anything were to happen to any of these things, if they can't repair it, they will be able to replace it. And we don't think twice. But about us, when it comes to us, that's when you start hearing people saying, oh, we have to think about it, which is something that we know is going to be, important, that is going to be beneficiary to us. So, like I said, but what if the unexpected occurs, critical illness, accident, or death? How would your loved one cope? Now, these are things that can happen that can affect people. Accident can happen that will affect your income, your salaries and wages. Sickness can happen that will affect your dependent, your children and partner. Disability can happen that will affect all these in food, phone bills. Because when these things happen, we'll not be able to do so much. Will be, limited. Debt can happen, mortgages and loans. It would affect them. So now, just like the other guy that spoke about some people's views on insurance. When you talk to some people, it's like, oh, it won't happen to me. And I say to them, nobody will ever pray for any of these things to happen to them. But we have to be realistic that it will happen. It's natural. Because people that are being sick or dying, as we're talking, some people are dying right now. Some people are in hospital. It's not as if they offended God or anything, they've done anything. So it's only for the, what is it called? That we're still alive and do all these things. So it can happen to anybody. But the question is, are we prepared for the financial impact it will have on ourselves and those that we claim that we love? They don't pay. Why would you say insurance don't pay? Number one, insurance is being regulated by the Financial Conduct Industry in UK. So which means that nobody can cheat you out of your money. So because you're doing it for a reason, and government created this for a purpose as well. Because as long as you do what you have to do, you do what is expected of you. Number one, you make sure you disclose all the necessary information that that is expected of you. I mean, truthfully and all of that, and you continue to maintain to pay your premium. Which is very important. That's why when we advise people, it's better to do something that is affordable, you're comfortable with, because one thing we don't want is for people to start and cancel it because, so that they can maintain it on it, because it's a long-term plan. So once you've done all the necessary that is expected of you as a client, and the insurance company have done their due diligence as well, there is no reason when, they need to, to play their part. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, God is my insurance, which is fantastic. God is our insurance. But what God has given us is the wisdom, which we need to apply on a daily basis. Because if anything were to happen, God will not come down from anywhere. But that is when He will remind you of this gathering that we're listening to, people that are discussing about insurance, that you heard about this. You should have taken action then, but you didn't. Let me think about it. What is there to think about? Something that it's very important to you. Oh, I don't believe in it. yes, you might not believe in it, but that's why you need an expert like ourselves to sit down and explain things better to you. And it's always good to have an advisor like us, because that's where we specialize on. Because I've seen a lot of people where they will go online and they say, oh, they want to save some money and do that. But it's better because they don't have any understanding about how to go on about this. Some of them might choose some wrong policies, but if you sit down with an advisor like us, we can take you through all the process, so that we'll be able to advise and to make those recommendations based on your need. So it works. Okay. Now, the consequences of not taking those actions, like what we're doing today, possibility of losing hope is it's there, because a lot of people have got mortgages and stuff like that when they love, they say, especially the breadwinner dies and there's a short of the short of finances and all of that. Some people's houses have been repossessed in the course of all these. Children and loved ones will suffer, because obviously things will change from there. Increase risk to your illness as well, and there will be drop in standard of living as well. But the consequence of taking action, once you listen to this and you take action, is there will be peace of mind. There's nothing that beats anybody peace of mind. Insurance is just for the basic, of peace of mind. Because you know that if anything, if I should die today, I know my family will be secured financially. If I'm, diagnosed of anything, if I'm sick today, I know money will not be an issue. Because the last thing anybody needs at such a difficult period is to be struggling financially. Safety net for your loved ones. Now, the next one is better to have and not need than to need and you don't have. I use this and I say this a lot, that it's better to have it and not need than to need and you don't have. Because when you now need and you don't have, that's when you know and really realize the consequence of not taking those actions. Now, the procedure, to do this, to go about this is, once you listen to this, if you are interested, you can put your name. Our number will be there. To just, call us, or we can call us, and it will take you through that process. It will take probably about 30, 45 minutes and all of that, so that we can assess you, and it's free. It's free assessment, and you'll be able to make an informed decision. Now, what are the things that I've talked about? There's life insurance, which is a policy that pays out in the event of one passed away, so that your family will be secure financially, help them during those difficult periods. Critical illness cover is a policy that pays out in the event of being diagnosed of anything like cancer, strokes, and heart attack, and so many things. Covers a whole lot of things, because you can be diagnosed of anything like cancer, stroke, and still live for another 5-10 years. But the last thing you want at that difficult period is to be struggling financially. And especially in this country, that the way the country is structured is such a way that when you work and you get paid on this side, on the other side, the money goes back to the system by paying your mortgage and rent and every other bills. And especially we Africans, that we still have a lot of family back home that rely on the same income. So how much money are we able to actually save? And that's why it's always good to have this. You have to protect yourself, so that if you fall sick, you want to make sure that you're protected financially. Because when the financial pressure is up there, at least you can concentrate on the treatment. Now, there's what we call income protection, which is a policy for for people that are self-employed, contractors and bank staff, locum, like nurses and doctors as well. Because the reason why a lot of people goes into this is because of they can earn more money. But because they won't have the benefit of sick pay at work. So it is strongly advisable that to take up an income protection, which means that will protect their income, because nobody can survive without their income. Even the insurance that we're talking about, nobody, they need money to do that. So when you fall sick or you have an accident, you can't walk for a long time, this one will come in and start paying you on a monthly basis until you're back on your feet, so that it will give you that guarantee of a peace of mind. There's private medical insurance, which is very important right now, because in UK now, NHS is actually struggling right now, and that's why a lot of people are taking it up, because now to even get a GP, what's it called, booking now, it take ages. Not to talk of you have to go through for a serious, treatment, where they have to like postpone it and all of that. But you have a private medical insurance, you just go and use that straight away and you get treated and all of that. Mortgage product, because we advise on mortgage, and there's always insurance that you can do, like mortgage protection. You protect yourself against your mortgage, so that if anything happens, whether you die or you are sick during those times, you make sure that your mortgage is is paid off. There's pension, which is something we do as well, commercial insurance, and all of that as well. Okay. Now, thank you so much. We know that money cannot cure, but it can help to take care of so many things. And that's why it is important that you take action now, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that tomorrow starts now. So thank you so much for listening. So I'll be expecting to answer some questions and all of that, and I will put my number there as well in case if you want those free advice that I mentioned. Then I will take you through that, and I'm sure you would appreciate that. And the good things is I will still be your advisor, so that when you need anything, any advice, any support in terms of making claims and all that, I will always be there, rather than to go online, because you're only dealing with the laptop and all of that. But dealing with somebody that specialized gives you that peace of mind, the rest of mind that you are guaranteed to get that service. So thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. And
Thank you very
that's all.
much. That
Welcome,
was
sir.
Mr. Akiwale Olugbaji. Thank you very much for your presentation. So can I move on to Prince Anida Kwararemi? And please, kindly send return the host back to me. Yeah. So, all right, great.
So good afternoon to everyone. I believe everyone can hear me. I think what I'm going to do is I wouldn't want to reinvent the wheel, because I think the first two speakers have done justice. Thank you, Dr. Tony. Thank you, my colleague, Mr. Akinwale. You've actually done an expert job in describing the whole industry. So there's no point in me trying to repeat whatever you've said. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, on the screen, you can see my details. So I'll advise if you can take a screenshot, that would be advisable. Obviously, so peradventure you want to reach out at any point in time. I'm a CMAP certified Amayosh. I'm an area sales manager with a company called Eminent Financials, which is part of the biggest financial sector in UK at the moment, which is called Open Works Partnership. And of course, all our details are on there. A few things I just need to kind of point out. I know my colleagues have done a fantastic job, like I said, but I like to make a twist to it, do a bit of practical. So I've got 10 minutes. I'll use the first few minutes to do the practicality. So please do me a favor. We have how many people on this chart? We have 35 people, which is a very good number on a Sunday. Can you do something? If you do have a life insurance, put 1. If you have a life insurance on the chart, just type 1. If you don't, type 2. If you do have a life insurance, let's make it very interactive, and I'll continue doing my thing. If you do have a life insurance, type 1. If you don't, type 2 on the chart. And of course, yes. And I'll come back to that in a minute. Then of course, my colleague too as well mentioned about please let's be very engaging. Thank you. I think there's quite a lot of people saying 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you. Now, so in terms of another area I wanted to kind of mention, like I said, I'm not going to repeat any of whatever anyone has said. If you do have life insurance, do you know what is called trusts? If you do, say 1. If you don't, say 2. Okay, do you know what? Let's use another number. Let's do 3 and 4. So the life cover, I do 1, I don't 2. Then apologies for the sound, it's a bit loud. Then if you have a trust in place for your life cover, say 3. If you don't, say 4. Type 4, 3 and 4. Yeah, please, thank you. And I'll be checking the chat box in a minute, because I think Mr. Akinwale mentioned something. There's no point. We do this a lot of time. We go around, we do this webinar, but one thing we notice is as good the presentations are and all of that, we don't take action. So I think my own, and I think I want to do that, is for us to take an action today, so that we know we don't just sit down, spend about 2 hours, and we just leave it and we say, you know what? Yeah, what have they said? Fantastic presentation. However, have you actually taken an action? So thank you for those that have participated. One, there are more tools in terms of the life cover, and there is more force. So that means you don't have a trust set in place. Thank you. So I will come back to that. Again, do you have will in place? So let's use 5 and 6. If you don't have a will in place, type 5. If you don't, type 6. Yeah. So let's start again. Life cover 1. If you don't, 2. Trust in place for your life cover. 3, if you don't fall. Then will. So that means it doesn't have to be attached to insurance. It could be anything. Do you have a will set in place? And I'll come back to those things. So thank you for that. Now, again, for those, so let me come back to the first question. For those the ones that have said 1 in the life cover, when last did you review them? So if you have reviewed them recently, type 1. If you haven't, type 2. So remember, the life cover is 1, 2. So we can use 1, 2 for that. So if you have reviewed recently, just type 1, 1. If you haven't, say 1, 2. Yeah, thank you. Okay, great. So I'm just going to focus on all of that so that we can bring all of this to bear without repeating whatever any of my colleagues have said. Now, so who can tell me what trust is? So let me just explain what trust is. A trust is something you set up for your life cover. So you have set up a life cover. So for those ones that have typed 1, 1, if you for those ones that have typed 1, 1 and they don't know whether they need to set up a life cover, a trustee. A trust is something that you set up for every life cover that you have in UK, so that you can avoid any inheritance tax. So obviously, all policies that you set up, it's tax-free. However, with life cover, you actually need to set up a trustee or a trust, whereby a trustee will be the custodian of that money once death was, unfortunately, if it was to occur, and so that they can transfer it to your dependents. Yeah, so that's what a trust is. So as part of the things we want to look at for those people that have typed 1, please, can you do something? Can you speak to your advisors? And we advisors are here. So you can, take my details. You can take Mr. Akinwale's details. We're here to help you. And if you have a dedicated advisor, please feel free. Speak to them is vitally important. I'll give you an example. So someone set up a life cover. For some strange reason, he did it online. So Mr. Akinwale mentioned that too as well. You don't know the importance of an advisor, and it is free. So you get better value for what you're getting as opposed to if you had gone online. So if we were charging, it would have been a different thing. But it's free of charge, but we'll still advise you comprehensively. This person did not set up a trust because nobody would. It was a one-sided thing. Now, when death occurred, the family believed that this person had a life cover, and they felt that they could reach the insurance firm. Unfortunately, he could not get the claim because there was no trust set in place. They had to wait for the government, for probate and all of that. And it could be frustrating. After you're going through all of those psychological things, the last thing you want to believe is, and those are the reasons why Mr. Akile mentioned earlier, and of course, Dr. Tony said it too as well. So those are the misgivings or misunderstandings that we have around life cover. So it's something that is vitally important for us to put in place trust. Again, I did mention reviewing the policy. I think somebody mentioned 1, 2. So you'd already have it. However, you've not review it anytime soon. Again, if you have a life cover in place, fantastic. What if life circumstances have changed? So when you set it up, maybe some years ago, and now, if you were to compare, situations might have changed. Have you considered trying to review it again for free of charge? To speak to an advisor like myself, Mr. Akinwale, to say an expert and say, listen, this is a life cover I already have. Is there anything I need to do about it? It's free of charge. We'll look at it and we'll base it based on your personal circumstances to be able to advise you adequately. And sometimes you don't have to you might not need to change it, but sometimes or most times, maybe you need to change it. So you need to speak to an advisor in terms of reviewing the policy. In terms of will too as well, yes, of course, you need to kind of put everything that's got to do with you in a will basics. I did have a slide, but because I realized that my colleagues have done justice to it, there's no point in us reinventing the wheel, like I said. So another thing I wanted to mention is what is called financial intelligence or principle of financial security, which kind of just give you like a guideline on how you can distribute your earnings. So I'll give an example. So you do have an income of 100%. Let's say you're a high earner, you earn £10,000, for instance. So 10% of it to go for, let's say, charity. You pay yourself another 10%. You save and invest 10%. The actual spending money is a chunk of it, which will go to about 40 to 65%. Let's say in 10%, maybe 10,000, maybe about 6,000 plus. Then the last one, which is the protection, should be about 5% to protect you, that you're earning this money in the event if anything was to happen. So we say about what? Who can do that math for me? So that'll be about £500. And if you're earning that much, obviously putting that in place, it will be a chicken change, because we always say something in insurance. Insurance is something you can never get when you need it most. It would have been too late. So you want to look at that, and of course, want to review whatever you have and make sure that you are adequately protected. Yeah, this has been done. A lot of justice has been done to most of those things. Then again, I wanted to mention in UK at the moment, I know Dr. Tony mentioned, and I think it's best for us to kind of do a bit of clarity in it. And thank you for that, Dr. Tony. You mentioned there are two types of life covers, and you mentioned the term and the whole. Yes, the whole one. So life insurance in UK at the moment is something that protects your financial dependents in the event of death. So now it's financial dependency. So you find out that some people, if they don't have any financial dependencies, they actually don't need life cover. And that's the honest truth. If you're single, for instance, nobody's going to depend, or nobody's going to suffer if you don't have a financial dependence. Sorry, nobody's going to suffer if you die. So that means there's no shortfall identified. So at that point, you might not even need that life cover yet. Yes, Dr. Tony mentioned, yes, if the death was now occurred, the dependencies. Yes, so that means, beneficiaries. So some people, the first category is identify the shortfalls for individuals. Then dependency in terms of beneficiaries, it could be anybody, it could be charities, it could be whatever, but you need to identify that this person actually needs a life cover. Of course, it's different maybe in Nigeria or some other regions or in America. I know that we used to have something in UK which is called cashback. And I think he mentioned that too as well. We don't have that anymore in UK at the moment, but I'm sure, I think in Nigeria, they still do have that, or maybe in America and all of that, just to put clarity on that too as well. What else do I need? So there are other types. I think Mr. Akinwale mentioned it too as well. And he said in terms of mortgage, yes. So there's what is called a decreasing mortgage cover. So I'm an expert in mortgage, setting up mortgages for people and all that, and reviewing the mortgages and all that. I'm aware of the fact that if you do have a mortgage, a lot of people think it's life cover. It just protects the mortgage, not your dependents. So your life cover is targeted towards your dependents. However, your mortgage protection is targeted towards your mortgage, which is called decreasing mortgage. And what that does is, while life cover sometimes level, you pay a certain amount, you paid a certain amount if death were to occur, your family. The decreasing mortgage is something that's slightly different. It comes slightly cheaper, but it's a fixed premium. However, because it's tied to your mortgage and you're paying both capital and interest, that means that the amount they will pay will keep reducing. Let me give an example. So you have, let me quickly do this. Let me do a slide so I can go. So you have a mortgage worth, let's say, 400,000, because I know we're all rich here. So 400,000 worth of mortgage. And you did a decreasing mortgage, yeah, for the same worth of 400,000. Now, and you're paying, let's say, you're paying £40, £45 premium, yeah? Yeah. And to be paid that 400,000. In 5 years' time, that 400,000 has reduced to 350,000. Yeah. So that means death was to occur to Mr. A in 5 years' time. That means that 350,000 is what they will pay to either your lender directly. Sometimes, not all the times, most times they pay to your lender directly, or they might pay to your family. But the purpose for it is to offset your mortgage, not to take care of your financial dependence. That is what the decreasing mortgage covers. So in UK, we only have level term and decreasing mortgage. The whole term, the one we call whole term, is the funeral cover, which just takes care of your funeral in the event of death. And that takes you to when death is going to occur. Now, the big difference with that old cover is just funeral. And I think the maximum is between 20 to 30,000 pounds to be paid to take care of your funeral. And so I just needed to add that as part of points that has not been added. So I'll say, honestly, they've done justice. Like I said, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think what I put down is, at the end of this session, you should be able to understand what life insurance is. And I believe that almost 37 of us would have had a better understanding of what life insurance is. Understand the other types of insurance that are available. Mr. Akinwale did a very good justice to that, and let me just touch, yes, he's done a very good justice to that. So you have a life cover, which has been explicitly and, covered well. Critical illness, he did a very good justice to it. Income protection, another thing I should just add to what he said is, obviously, it protects your income, but there's a percentage. And the reason, I'm sure the reason why he's not mentioned, because we're limited to 10 minutes. What can you say in 10 minutes? Just to add spice to what he said is there's a percentage. And all of these things, obviously, when you book a session with us, we'll definitely explain based on your personal circumstances. And there's accidental protection too as well. Accident happens both when you're at home or outside the home. And there's endowment policy, which is the funeral cover, and private medical is done justice to that. The general insurance, home and content, landlord, car insurance, travel insurance, liabilities indemnity, Lloyd's insurance, and of course, optional benefits are added to other ones too as well. What you don't want is after this session, you don't want to, let me just, so a few minutes more. I know I have to just rush it because 10 minutes is a wonderful time. Yeah, understand other types of insurances like I've just touched to. Know the distinct difference between various types of insurance and how it affects you. It's individual. So a lot of people, when we go around, it's something that say, oh no, my friend did this, so I should do that. No, your circumstances is unique to yourself. You can't compare your own circumstances to someone else. So please let the advisors be able to advise you and give you the best of advices in terms of what is bespoke to yourself and your family as opposed to comparing to others, and be able to make an informed decision. Now, I need to put a caveat at that, and I'm sure Mr. Akinwale would agree with me. This 10 minutes is not enough. In fact, is a wake-up call. It's like a call-up to say, we have given you, it's not enough for you to make a decision. Book an appointment with us. It's free of charge. Let's look at your circumstances. And based on your circumstances, take about an hour for your circumstances so that you can be able to make an informed decision. Yeah. So finally, I'll say thank you so much for the great opportunity. What you don't want is whether you get an insurance or not, someone will pay during sickness, accident, disability, which is sad. The question is who, your insurance or your family? Flower or check, you make that decision. So I would want to say thank you so much. I'm most grateful for the organizers. And obviously, you can take a screenshot of that. Please, 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 please reach out to, because if you don't reach out, you don't know what you're actually missing. I was speaking to some set of doctors yesterday, and the topic was actually inequality amongst us when it comes to insurance. So we have just started realizing the fact that we are not taking advantage of what we should be taking advantage of for several reasons that's been mentioned today. So let's take advantage of what is rightfully ours by speaking to experts in our midst so we can tell you the truth about what you need to do. And please make sure you do the right thing. So take a screenshot, feel free, I'll put it on the chat. And please, you can contact any of us. We're experts in our field. If someone has done 10,000 hours, and I'm sure we've done over 1 million hours between myself and Mr. Kiwale, and of course the doctor too as well, please feel free to speak to us, and I'm sure you'll never regret it. So I am signing out. I'm still here to answer questions. My name's Prince Adidapo Aromi. I'm CIMA certified, of course, mortgage advising. I'm IOSH, and of course, I can advise you on any area of insurance. I'm an area sales manager, and those are all my details. Thank you so much. And I want to believe that you're going to take action today. Thank you.
That was Prince Adidapo Araromi, who is also a social director with Nigerian in Kenta Medway organization, and who is also an internal auditor with National Association of Nigerian Communities in UK, popularly known as NANC, or sometimes we call it NANC. Yes, thank you very much, Prince Adidapo Araromi. That was very, very impactful. So before we open the platform for everybody to start asking questions, like I mentioned to us, I introduced someone else to us at the beginning of the meeting, Mr. Tony Dosumo. Mr. Tony Dosumo, is there anything you would like to add to what our experts have said so far?
No, please. I think they've said it all. There's no point repeating here.
All right.
And like I said earlier, I've come to
Okay.
support Mr. Akinwale. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So I will hand over to my co-host here today, Dr. Ati. So please.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the speakers as well. If anyone has any question, please put up your hand and we'll call you to ask your question. You can also use the chat session if you want. You can type your questions there and we will read it out to the speakers and I'm sure they will respond. I'm trying to check if anybody's hand is up.
You can also unmute. Okay, somebody has just raised up his hand. Ali is a boy.
Okay, go on, Ali. Ali's a boy.
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation so far, and the organizer. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Very well.
Okay,
Thank
you very much. At least still a boy, even though at 50. But thank you very much, everybody. Please. Actually, I'm new in UK, close to 2 years ago. But glory be to Almighty, I'm able to do the life insurance. But this is what I don't know. And you people always say what you don't know is older than you, no matter how old you are. Please permit me to say that. Oh, I've asked Mr. Tony and he has passed me the details, what I asked. But Mr. Isaiah Kinwale mentioned something about reviewing the policy from time to time. I just want to ask, is there any timeline? Can it be yearly basis so that the advisor will not say your problem is too much while reviewing? And what are the likely things when you review that you can change on yearly basis? One.
Lola.
Two, on life insurance, I'm just thinking of it personally. I've seen different benefits, but is it something, let's say I'm dropping 30 pounds per now, and is it something you can adjust, which is what I did not ask, that if I want to increase this thing because I see the benefits, is this something you can adjust from 30 to 50? And how often can you do that? That's number two. Number three, please. So the last speaker mentioned about the decreased mortgage. Now, my question is, in a situation you have a mortgage and that mortgage, you have to pay it within maybe 10 to 15 years and you are paying the premium on it. What is the situation? Is there anything, if let's say you pay off that mortgage before you die, what is there anything you are going to get in return? You pay off quite all right. You are paying decreasing mortgage and you pay off within 10 to 15 years. But you've been paying premium from the beginning. Is there any return to that, or you just forget that money just like that? Thank you very much. That's my question.
No. My response to that.
Yes, please go on. I was just going to.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ali. Thank you so much for your time and the question, because one thing I like about people that ask questions is because they're genuinely interested. Yes, I appreciate that you've got an insurance that's just been in UK. You talk about, that I mentioned about reviewing your policy. Number one, the good thing about insurance to have an advisor, it's because your advisor knows what is happening within the insurance industry. So if there's any change on any policy or something that will benefit your client, it's, obviously your advisor is in a better position to update you as a client, so that you can take that on board and you can sit down and review it. There are so many reasons that one can review their policy that will cause a change in that, because number one, change of circumstances means that, number one, if you're single, you might decide to marry, and that's a change of circumstances because you're starting a family. If you have children, if you have more children, Those are the things. If you buy a house, just like we mentioned about mortgage, that's a change of circumstances which you need to see down from time to time. Because like somebody like myself, once I sign someone, I become part of that person. I become part of their family, whether they're having a marriage, they're having anything, we become family. So anything changes, I'll be able to know, in their circumstances, and I'll be able to advise them and say, look, we need to sit down now. You have one children when we did this, now you have 2 or 3 more, or let's sit down. Oh, you don't have a mortgage when we did your policy, now you have a mortgage now. There are other things you can do to protect your mortgage. So those are circumstances. But even, aside that as well, there's no reason to talk about, if you've been paying 30 pounds and you want to increase it, to 50 pounds, fantastic. Because like I said, insurance has to be something that is affordable, that, you're comfortable with. So when I advise, because our job is to advise people and to make those recommendations, and you should have not decide and say, look, from all these things that were explained to me, this is what I can afford, because it's a long-term plan. Because one of the things we try to prevent is for clients to cancel, because the things can happen, challenges can happen. People lose their job in the process, marriage breakdown and all of that, which can affect their finances. And when that happens, it's a reason for you to say, okay, I've been paying 30 pounds and right now I can afford that. Now, you sit down rather than to cancel, because a lot of people just go there and cancel it, what they can cancel. And insurance is one of the things that they can say that it's not something that, they can benefit straight away. So they tend to cancel that. And that means that every money that you pay, it's lost. And like I said in my presentation, that it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and you don't have it. So what I say to my client is, when you face any challenges, before you make any drastic decision, especially when it comes to insurance, make sure you call us so that we can sit down and we look at it. Then again, it's so flexible that when you start with 30 pounds and and you think, oh, you want more, of course, we'll sit down and review that and we can increase that as well. Okay. But we want to make sure that, you have insurance in place, So it's very important that we, that I hope that answers your question. Okay. So like I said, it's strongly advisable to review your policy at least every, 1 or 2 years, just to review it and, and you will see that you can benefit from that. I don't know if I should talk about the mortgage that you talked about as well before any of my colleagues talked about that. Is it mortgage protection? You're only protecting yourself against your mortgage. That during the time of your mortgage, just like my colleague said, Prince, that if you have a mortgage, because any mortgage you go into in this case, UK, there's a term. So let's say you have a term of, say, 20 years, it's your mortgage. And you have, because there are different kind of mortgage that you can have. It's either a repayment or what is it called? Interest only. Okay. So if you are in a repayment, because once you have a repayment mortgage, that means that every month that you contribute, you pay your mortgage, it reduces the balance outstanding on your mortgage. So what we're saying is, an advisor is to protect yourself against your mortgage, against life or critical illness, which means that during the time of that mortgage, between 1 year and 20 years, if you are to pass away, the mortgage will be paid off and the money will go straight to your, to your lender, so that the family can retain the mortgage when you die rather than to lose or to repossess the house. The same thing goes for a critical illness on your mortgage, so that if you fall sick within the term of your mortgage, they will come and pay the remaining balance. Because when that happens, people will tend to be struggling with finances. But once you protect yourself against that, rather to be worried about, oh, I'm sick, I can't work like I used to work, how am I going to cope with my mortgage? You don't have to worry because you've already done that. Put that in place, which is the peace of mind. So they will come in and pay the remaining balance for you, and that will give you the peace of mind. You also mentioned something that if nothing happens to you within the term of your mortgage, that you're talking about, after that, what happened to the money that you pay? These are the questions that we encounter on a day-to-day, which is fantastic. But don't forget that insurance is a service as well. And what the insurance company is actually doing is to take the risk away from you. That, you know what, you've got a mortgage, but if you're paying a so amount of money every month during the time of your mortgage, if anything happens to you, whether you die or you sick, you don't have to worry about your mortgage. will make sure your mortgage is yours. That's the risk they're taking away from you. It means you don't have to worry again. Does that make any sense? So which means if anything happens, they will pay it off. So every month you pay, okay, you get the coverage. Just like your car insurance. Does that make any sense? And like I said, nobody can predict what will happen in the next 10 minutes. Not to talk of in a month or a year or in 15 years. But you're guaranteed that if you continue to make your premium during the time, you'll be paid. The house will be paid off. So, and if you're lucky to live beyond your mortgage, you know your mortgage is sorted out, you already paid it off, and you know that insurance are kept to their, so they won't pay you back. But during those times, they protected you and they rendered the service of peace of mind, which is what you're paying. And how much is too much for one's peace of mind? Does that make any sense? I think that answered the questions.
Thank you very much. That's clear the situation, the gray area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kibade. Mr. Olubade, sorry about that. Okay, do we have any question?
So there's one someone has put on the chat. Is universal life insurance policy available in the UK?
So
I'm not sure. Can I take
would
that?
like to
Yes,
go?
thank you, Prince.
Yeah, thanks for
Prince.
that question. I'm not sure who asked the question. I think it's in the chat box. A
Yeah.
simple answer: there is no universal life cover, or is it universal life cover I mentioned? Yeah, there isn't anything like that as far as we're concerned as of today. But obviously, there's always changes every now and then. It could change by tomorrow. The only type of cover that we have is term life insurance, which is attached to your dependents. And of course, like we have expressed earlier, and of course, if you have one that's attached to your mortgage. So there isn't anything called universal life insurance in UK as of today. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Sambes Ruje. I just wanted to find out whether we have group insurance in the UK. Because at the moment I'm in one group insurance, but it's based in Nigeria through my old boys association. I don't know whether we have that in the UK.
Okay.
Can I take that too as well? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes, please.
No, so a lot of questions have been asked in terms of group, I think life insurance, because obviously I'm sure that should just be the only one. So most recently, yes, because a lot of organizations and groups are coming up. So yes, there is group life insurance. But the funniest thing about that is this. The way group life insurance works, because I belong to one too in Nigeria. So in UK, we will still have to, let's imagine the group you have, maybe you are 20 or 30 or 40, whatever number they are.
We are 77.
You're what? How many?
77.
You're 77. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Now, so with that, even if we have to set it up, some of the conditions that needs to be satisfied is to come and speak to each and every individual, because your lifestyle is different. I'm sure medical conditions will be different, and a whole lot of things that we need to consider as factors. So even if there's a group life insurance, yes, there is one. I think the premiums will be taken, of course, from the organization first.
Yes.
We still need to kind of fact find on individuals to be able to kind of identify how much. So if you say, for instance, you want to set up £20 on a flat rate per month. So the determining factor for the sum assured and the premium, which is if you fix the premium for £20, the sum assured will definitely be different to each of the individual 77 people, sir.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question, sir.
Well, the one I'm in is not like that. There is a sum assured for each person of a certain amount. The person passes on, and it's the next of kin that it will be paid to. I don't understand this one that you are explaining.
Okay, so I want to believe the one. Thank you so much for that. So I want to believe that the one that you're mentioning, Mr. Sambest, is in Nigeria. Am I correct?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I said too as well, I had one similar to that. I think
Okay.
you might want to speak to that organization because I think recently I've been doing a bit of research with regards to that. Apparently, you still need to kind of fact find individually. But obviously, the way things work, I'm sure Dr. Tony can speak more about that. I think he's more an expert in Nigerian type
Okay.
of insurances. And I think he mentioned one or two things that's got to do with Nigerian thing. But in the UK, sir, with the 77 people, say for instance, you want me to come around to do that group insurance. Now,
Yeah.
I would have to fact find on individual basics. And what I mean by fact finding, I'll need to speak to each of the 77 so I can identify all your informations, identifying your shortfalls, your medical conditions, and all of that will determine or will drive the premium. You mentioned
Yeah.
a word in terms of your beneficiary. You will determine, each and every individual will determine who their beneficiaries are,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
the organization. Yeah, I hope that clarifies the term.
Yes, we were asked to give some details, including the next of kin details, but we weren't asked about we weren't asked any medical questions or other questions, just our details and the fact that we are paying our dues, and
sir.
from the dues the money is collected.
Okay, sir.
The
So,
premium
Mr.
is collected.
So I understand where you're coming from, sir. But honestly, in UK, you definitely would need will need to come and identify individual and do fact find for individuals, sir,
All right.
before we say.
Okay.
Thank you. I hope I've been able to explain that, sir.
Yes, yeah, it's okay. You've explained. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prince. Does anyone have any other question to ask?
No, I don't.
Hello, Ma.
Yeah.
Did you want to ask a question?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Right. So one of the speakers mentioned something about that he talks about life insurance having cash value. Could you please explain a little bit more so that we can get it? I was actually fiddling with my speakers, so I didn't quite get that.
I think it was Dr. Tony that mentioned cash value.
Dr. Tony, are you there? Okay, I don't think we still have him here. Okay, so I have another question to ask. So some people have already been, kind of disillusioned by life insurance. So how do we, ensure or let people know that our providers are reputable and we can actually trust them, to be, our own providers? You want to take that, Mr. Kinwale Lugbade?
Can you repeat that question, please, again?
Yeah, so some people, whilst we were trying to put this program together, some of them were making expressions that makes me feel like they're already disillusioned. They don't want, to talk about life insurance again. So how do you explain to them that your company is reputable? What do they need to see? Or what testimonies do they need to see to know that, yes, they can trust these people to go ahead with them?
Have they had any specific experiences that made them disillusioned?
Okay. Let's hear from Mr. Lebade, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, my sister. I mean, it's a very good question because when people, like I said, when people ask questions, it's because they are genuinely, interested in it. And that's where we come in as an advisor, whether me or Prince, will be able to do that. Number one, I mentioned something earlier on that insurance in UK, the reason why every one of us that moved down from a country to UK or, Western world, let me put it like, is because they have a system that works, right? So number two, insurance industry in UK is regulated by a body called Financial Conduct Authority. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Which means that you can check that. Let's say, for example, if I'm talking to you now, that my name is so, and I work for this company, before you go ahead, all of us, me, Prince, Mr. Tony Dosumo, we all have what we call FCA number.
Mm-hmm.
So which means that if you're not sure about any one of us, you're not convinced enough. So just ask for our FCA number and you can contact them that I have this person that wants to advise me on this. I just want to make sure that I'm dealing with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be able to verify that. Does that make any sense?
Right.
Which will give them that confidence that they're dealing with the right advisor. And secondly, UK, you see, like I said, if you look at my PowerPoint that I did, I display all the providers because we are just a broker. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
So we are dealing with a lot of all the major insurance companies in UK, which we are allowed to do that. So once a client comes to us or potential client comes to us, would get some information like doing a fact find, just like my colleague, Prince mentioned. Okay. And based on their information that they give to us, we'll be able to advise them on their need. And we'll be able to recommend which one is suited to them, that is cheaper for them as well.
Right.
Does that make any sense? So they can be rest assured so that if anything were to happen, and there will always be a continuity with that advisor, so that you know that, oh, Mr. Olubade and all of that, because you continue, because leadership is about building a long-lasting relationship. And at the same time, integrity is very important and honesty is very important. So obviously, if you trust someone, you know that they will never disappoint you. Just like you said, I can provide you with a lot of messages from clients that I've done claim for. I display one to say thank you for what you've done, because it's not just about advising people. Yes, we don't pray that any of those things happens, but we know that people that have experienced that, they've come back and you can see the smile that they did the right thing. So it's not just because one thing I've noticed is when people listen to this and all of that, that's where you hear it. So it's better to talk to us. You can contact me, you can contact Prince, Mr. Dosumo, and all of that as well, and we'll be able to give you those informations so that you can verify who you're dealing with. And with UK, you can be rest assured that nobody can take advantage of your money because you're paying for that service.
Absolutely.
And you want to make sure that what we are giving you, because we are getting paid for the service you are rendering, is not free as well.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that name is very important. And the way we build our business is because when our clients are happy, it's easier for them to refer other people. That's how we grow our business.
Absolutely.
So there's no point. There's no gimmick. It's about the truth, nothing but the truth. But we want to make sure, we want to see that they're happy. And whenever they need us, they can call on us and we'll always be there. Does that make any sense? Not like if you go and buy it on the internet, tomorrow, do you want to go back to the laptop? Laptop will not be able to talk and do so many things. Today is Sunday. I've had a lot of my clients calling me since morning, asking me about one thing or the other, trust, how to feel it, how to do that. But can you imagine somebody that went on the internet and bought it? Would they go and do that there? So that's why it's good to have an expert like us, so that we'll always be there anytime.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that answer the question?
Oh, that absolutely. Because some people here will not ask any question. After now, they'll email us to ask us some questions. So we need to make these things really clear. And you also mentioned that
there are some questions on chat that they just dropped.
Okay. My question, what happens if one starts and decides to leave the UK? Is this transferable anyhow? And it goes further to say, apart from death and sickness, what are the other benefits one gets if premiums are paid regularly for a long time?
Do you want to go on that?
Prince, do you want to take that?
Okay, fair enough. I think I just wanted to add to what Mr. Akinwale said, and I'm sure Mr. Akinwale can can testify to what I'm going to say, that if you do have any specific case,
Yeah.
or someone that's got a bad situation, I'm sure that I personally am willing to take it out. Not even me personally, there's what is called ombudsman. So if you are not satisfied, so when we talk about stuff, have we gone to do the right thing? So let's say, imagine an individual was refused insurance or whatever it is. And in addition to what Mr. Akinwale said, at the end of it, they will write to you and say, you have the right to contact the ombudsman.
Absolutely.
So we do a lot of hearsays in our society, but I think I would want to put out my neck. If there's someone that has done it, I am willing to take it up from that. And I'm sure Mr. Akinwale too would want to testify to that. So in terms of the question you asked, what was the first part of the question, please? Sorry.
He said, my question, what happens if one starts and decides to leave the UK? Is this transferable anyhow? And then he goes further to ask again, apart from death and sickness, what are the other benefits one gets if premiums are paid regularly for a long time?
Okay, so the first question, the simple answer is no, because what regulates the UK is different to where you're going. However, with few questions, with few examples of my clients, so some clients, I have a client that is relocated to UAE, for instance, for professional work. He's a contractor, he's a doctor, he's gone to UAE, he's going to be there for a year or something, and he's got his family here. What we normally tell clients is, at that point where you're making that decision, let us know so that we can make that decision together. Because we've seen some people say they want to relocate, a few months down the line, they came back. But in terms of that specific question, intransferably, there's no, it's a no, it's a simple no. The second part of it is,
said apart from death and sickness, what are the other benefits one gets if premiums are paid regularly for a long time?
I'm not sure what benefits you want apart from peace of mind. Apart from death and sickness, there are other benefits when you keep on making your premiums. What you're saying is, for every premium you're making, you're guaranteeing that if anything were to happen, they will pay out the lump sum, which is the sum assured.
Right.
And that's just good enough in terms of peace of mind.
Okay, so the next question is...
Sorry, before you ask the next question, because this question that came to me is very close to the one that was asked if someone leaves the UK. So the question is, I just want to ask this so that everything will be cleared.
Ask that together.
Yeah. So the question is, okay, so he said, will I receive any money back if I cancel the policy? So for someone who has been in the UK for a very long time and decided to relocate somewhere else, now, like you already said, that is not possible. You don't take it with you. It's not transferable. So what now happens at the end of the day for somebody who has been paying, for a very long time, now decide to relocate and he cannot go with the premium? So all he has to do is to cancel. So what happens to him or her?
So in terms of that, there's what is called cancellation rights. So if you set up the policy within the first month, you can get your refund back if you don't want it within the first month. After the first month, if you now decide to cancel, the cancellation rights, which is across board, which is standard, you can't get anything back. And I'll give an example. So let's say, for instance, you drive and you're doing car insurance. Yeah. And after 6 months, you decide you don't want car insurance anymore. The simple question is, do you get the premiums back? I'm sure the answer is no. Because the way I try to practicalize this is this. Look at it as mortgage payments to your mortgage or rental on a monthly basis to what you're renting. So the premium is like your rent or your mortgage. If you're doing that monthly, what you're saying is you're living in that place to take care of those mortgages or rent on a monthly basis. It's not something you claim back. So to answer your question, sir, if you decide in, let's say, practically 1 year after and you want to relocate back to Nigeria, we have already protected you for 1 year.
Good.
So that means you're making a premium of £20 to get claimed 100,000. If after 1 year you've contributed £240 and you say, you know what, I'm going back to Nigeria, we have already protected you for that 1 year, sir. That if death was to have occurred, we would have paid your family 100,000. So the risk we are taking is if you were to die, we are paying you. So we're not really more concerned about the premium is just to keep protecting you, sir. So in terms of that, if you now decide to relocate after the compulsory 1 month, which is standard across board, there's no payment back, sir.
Okay.
I hope that answers the question.
Yes, then please, there is another one that is
Sir,
closely related to that as well.
Sir, can I buttress what
Go
Prince
on.
said about that? Okay.
Go on.
Yeah. Because like somebody that said they have been paying and they decide to relocate. Number one, you have to be a resident of the UK to continue to have the insurance. So when you decide to move to US, obviously, just like Prince said, that's a new country. It's better to go and do another one there. Does that make any sense? But one thing people have to bear in mind is, even if you've been living here for 15 years or 10 years, the purpose of insurance, the purpose of insurance is for...
No,
Hello, sir, let me finish, sir.
I watched it, but I'm on a Zoom meeting. I forgot. I've missed my sound. I don't know where.
Can you
Can
you mute yourself, sir?
Eh?
Can you mute yourself, sir?
It's all right, you can continue, Mr. Olibade.
So, for example, because these are the questions that happens and affect a lot of people's decisions to take up insurance. Now, for example, because you live here and there's a system that says, you have insurance and these are the rules and everything. So insurance, you have to think about it like, because you've been here for 15 years and you think because you've been paying for 15 years because you're going to move, what happened to those money? Yes, we worried about the money that we paid for those years. But one thing you got to bear in mind is, every month that you pay, okay, obviously it gives you the peace of mind. I've seen cases whereby, like I did a claim for somebody, I think about 2 months ago, right? And I signed that person 3 months ago. The family hasn't actually contributed a penny. They haven't collected their first premium. And something happens to that family. They were worried. Are they going to be paid? And when they called me, I said, yes. And they paid a whole lot of a lot of money. Does that make any sense? Without paying a penny. Because there's a commitment, there's an agreement that we're happy to, to take the risk, to accept you. And the client is already agreed to start the policy. For example, you can imagine they pay that kind of client like £100,000 without paying a penny towards that. Because as a client, we think about the money we are paying every month. We're not thinking about the benefits that we're going to benefit because we're doing it for that peace of mind. That if I should die, if I'm sick, if anything happens. So if you've been doing it for 1 year to 2 years and 3 years, every month you pay that money, you are rest assured that you're covered. And we have to remind you that those insurance companies as well, they are a company who they're doing business as well. But like I said, they are just, taking the risk and the fear from you to say, look, paying us £20 every month, and if you should die, your family will get 100,000. Does that make any sense? So there's no reason to get anything back other than the peace of mind. And I've seen a lot of people that will say, okay, I would rather be saving my money, right? Say, for example, if you're saving £100 a month in your account, in 12 months, that's 1,200. In 10 years, that is 12,000. But you can imagine, and the insurance is saying to you, pay £20, and if you should die in the next 10 years, we'll pay you 100,000. We'll pay your family 100,000, right? Compared to that 12,000, or what is it called? 12,000. And they say to you, £20 every month, you get 100,000, which means that in the next 10 years, if anything should happen, your family will get 100,000, which is more wiser. Does that make any sense?
All right.
So we have to think about that. We have to think about that. And that's why when you see all these white people, even the poorest of white men in this country, they've got insurance. Some of them have done it to the extent that where they will bury them is paid for. Because it's about planning for tomorrow. They know the benefit, so that they're taking the burden away from their family. Because it can happen at a time when family are struggling. I mean, I'm sure Mr. T will agree with me about 2 weeks or 3 weeks away ago. when one young guy that got a job from NHS, that posted it on the LinkedIn, and the following day he died, a young man, and he died. He left the wife and the children with 2 kids. They're now doing GoFundMe. How much do they need? You can imagine if he has insurance of 100,000. Yes, our community will love to help each other, but that should be an added bonus. But I think they have insurance, but probably is paying £20 on all of that, and the family is paid 50 or 100,000. Would they worried about how to bury them? Because this is what we're going through in this country, and it's about wisdom, it's about knowledge. So we need to be mindful and all of that, that we are actually adding value to ourselves as a family. Because if you love somebody, you love your family, you want to make sure they are well protected. Do you understand? A lot of people, there's a family, there's a lady that went, they just came in, she and her husband with 3 kids. They came in last year, these Japa people. And the lady slumped in the home that she was working. And they were only looking for just 4,500. How long are we going to continue to do that? Because if we are struggling to bury them, are we going to continue to contribute money for their family that are left behind? And that is why it's advisable that as an individual and as a family, we should have a financial protection in place. Are you with us? And like we say, the earlier the better, the younger the cheaper. Don't leave it until you are 50 or whatever. And if you are 50, you can still do it. The younger the cheaper. So I think that,
Yeah.
Thank
you very much, sir. I think we still have 1 or 2 other questions there.
Yeah, we'll quickly go through the ones on the chat box so we can round up. So do you provide children education trusts, that is saving towards children higher education funding?
No, that's a no, we don't.
Okay.
For insurance, that's why we say if you do a life cover, if anything was to happen, those are the items that could go towards.
Okay, I don't know if this question says, can any of you give us a practical example using real figures? That is, if I'm paying a premium of £30 per month, how much will my beneficiary get after my demise for life insurance?
I think that person needs to speak to any of the advisors. That is a vague question, I'm sorry to say, but it's not a fixed thing. There are a lot of other factors you need to consider. I mentioned the word fact find. It's not just £30 and you're going to be 100,000. You've not given us your statistics, your age, nothing about yourself. So that's why you need to speak to an advisor so that they can bespoke it to you.
Right.
And it's a very, very, when I say vague, I didn't mean it in a negative way. I mean it in a way of, I understand the fact that the person didn't understand that you can't just get it like that. And that is why this awareness is there, so that for every of these things, speak to an advisor, and based on that question, would determine all of these answers that you're inquiring.
Right.
And this is why the awareness is very important. Yes. And speaking to an advisor is free. So what would it cost you? Nothing. So it's okay. I'm thinking, okay, I have about £30 based on what you have said. This is my action. What can that get me? And the person will take you through all of the sessions and you'll be able to make an informed decision.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like you've touched on this one before, but he said, sorry for taking us back. In few words, is community life insurance policy available in the UK?
Yeah, I want to believe that's the same thing like group life insurance, isn't it? So, and I've touched on it, like you said, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Some companies take care of your medical treatments. I think that should be a benefit. Okay.
I'm not sure what that person is referring to. I think it was based on the question that asked that, is there any other benefit? I don't think that's an accurate, because depending on, so if it's private medical, for instance, if it was private medical you set up, that don't give you cash benefit. You're taken care of. Okay. You're signposted to private hospitals and you're taken care of. But if it's life and critical illness, there is no other benefits.
Right.
The only benefit for that is cash, which is sum assured. They'll pay you a cash, then you can go and take care of yourself. You can't do a life cover of critical illness and you expect that company to go and take care of you. It doesn't work that way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are almost out of time. So thank you so much to all the
I
speakers.
have a quick question to ask.
Okay, Ma, go ahead. We'll take one
I want
question from you.
At the moment with Sun Life insurance is for death, like if I die, I should be buried. Do you people do that so that I can have more avenues to make money for my children if I should go, and the way I should be buried? Do you people cover that? Sun Life, and with Sun Life insurance is for burial in case I pass away, to help my children, to contribute something for them so that they won't carry the burden alone. Do you people cover that?
Thank you so much for that, Ma. We do. That is what they mentioned earlier on, which is called all of life. Okay? All of life. Because with all of life, it doesn't have a term. That means it doesn't have a term. It doesn't come with term. With all of life, is for people that over 50s and is to take care of the funeral. That's what it does. And the good part about all of life is when the person that took that up reached the age of 90, the premium stops, but the benefit continue. So let's say, for example, they live to 200. From 90, you don't pay anything again, but your benefit continue. And that's why we always advise people in your category, man. So for people from over 50, so we do that. And I know with Sun Life, because I was with a client, I think about a couple of Saturday, about 2 weeks ago, that has Sun Life. But I would strongly recommend that you review that policy because you can get it cheaper than what they're offering as well.
Okay.
But that does not mean you can't have another one. You can.
That's what I'm
can
saying.
have one, you can have two. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can.
So I would like to know your anyway. You have your
my
details.
number is there. Our number, number is there. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
excuse me. I
Ali?
asked a question on education trust. I briefly stepped out, so I don't know if it has been answered.
Yes, it was answered in your absence, maybe.
Okay. You want to kindly update me?
The speaker said there's nothing like
There's nothing like that.
like that.
Okay.
He said the short answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay. Because while in Nigeria, I was doing. Okay, no problem. It's all right. Thank you.
Can I take
you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to say while in Nigeria, I was doing this educational trust with mutual assurance for my children before I moved. So that's why I'm just asking if there is anything of such in the UK here.
Can I? Yeah, I think there is, but you need to speak to your bank. We don't offer that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You might want to speak to your bank. Things.
And then also when you're talking about educational, don't forget in Nigeria, because we pay for the school fees in Nigeria as a parent, but living in UK, you don't have to, because the children goes to school for free here.
No, I'm talking about higher education.
Education, that's why, I mean, I don't know, because obviously if they want to go to university, there's always, a university fund for them as well.
There's a loan, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can offer the children. Yeah, which means that when they finish and they start working, they will be deducting peanut from their salary. So I don't think any parent wants to put themselves in that kind of. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, because the reason why they have that endowment education for the children in Nigeria is because we pay so much. And that's where they plan that should anything happen, once you have that can help the children towards the education. But the UK is free, so you don't need to bother yourself on that. And that's why they created the one that we're talking about here. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay, can I talk a little, please?
Doctor.
Yeah, please.
I think there was.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether is it in reference to the charts that you put the iPhone?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to address that. I'm not sure. Maybe you speak first, then I'll just continue.
Okay. Okay. I was just, I joined late anyway, so I didn't know how far you've gone and all that.
I just saw the link on student group and I decided to join. But so far, I don't know the name of your company and all that. But I joined Smart Insurance about 5 months ago or 4 months ago, and on life and critical illness. That's the package I have with them. And taking care of insurance for me and my family is part of it. So I wouldn't know why you were saying that.
So let me give. I'm not sure. The first question is: did you speak to an advisor before you took this?
Yeah,
So you went
of course I did.
Okay.
I did, and
Fair
he
enough.
narrated everything for
That's
me.
okay. That's okay. That's okay. The reason why I asked is when I was doing the slide, you said he joined late, so you must have missed one or two vital informations.
Okay.
On my slide, I did put that they're optional. So the basic for life and critical illness is for life and critical illness. What you're saying is optionals, which is a part of things that are optional added ons. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
not by default, is not part of it. They are optional. So there are several optionals. There are other optionals that you can speak to private doctors. So you can say, okay, well, for life and critical illness, you can speak to private doctors as optional, as extra benefits. No, they are not. They are just optional. So that means it's not open to everybody that just does life and critical illness. Does that make sense, sir?
Yeah, I think I understand.
So those are optionals which has been added to your life and critical illness. Does that make sense, sir?
No, yeah, I get that. Then again, please, can I know the name of your company?
Eminent Financials is the name of my company, sir. I put it there earlier, and it's still on the chart.
I told you I joined late. Okay, I'll go through the chart and possibly get it.
Thank you.
For further information. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ali is a boy. You wanted to ask a question. Can you make that quick? Because where are you, Ali?
Sure, I think it was added based on the madam that asked for the death burial something yesterday. I just want to ask during that question that can it coexist with your life insurance that you have been running before you hit 60 years, 50 years of age? I think the person that answered said you can coexist, you can run it parallel. If I get that point right.
Okay.
Yes. Let me answer that. Yes, you can. You can do the two together.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But the difference between the two, like I said, the whole of life is only, it's only, for people that is over 50. Once you reach your 50 years of age, then you can add that to, the whole of life to your term life insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Does anyone have any last question? Any questions? We're going off now. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me hand over to Mr. T.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ati. All right. What I'm going to do now is, please, I'm going to give our speakers opportunities to send in their flyers to me, and I will help them to send them out. The reason why I'm doing this is because we have spoken with them, we have listened to them, we have heard them, and I believe you can trust them. I know them, and there's something that the funny thing is, I met each one of them separately, differently, but at some point I got to understand that they were even friends. I was shocked. You understand, when they started telling me, I know this man. And the other one was, I know him. Ah, okay. I said, okay, that's good. So that is just to give us the assurance that, yes, they are experts. They know what they're doing, and you can trust them. Anything that comes through us, of course, definitely, I wouldn't bring to you wrong setup. So what I will do is, if they can share their flyers with me, and I'll be happy to send them out. And if you still have the opportunity to also send in your website as well on here on the chat before we finish the meeting, please do so as well. But I'm happy to send out your flyers so that people can contact you and have special discussion with you regarding the insurance. So, okay, I will say thank you. Thank you very much. It's not easy taking your time. I think we have taken about over 2 hours of your time. That's not easy to give out. But I can understand that you decided to do that just because of the love you have for the people, for the community. That is why you have done that for us. And from my heart, I will say thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Mr. Akinwale Olugbade, you are so wonderful. Thank you for coming. Thank you for answering all the questions. And thank you for being part of this. Thank you very much. Prince Adedapo Araromi, you are just superb. Thank you. I love everything you've told us. We are so happy. Thank you. God bless you. And Dr. Tony Adebanjo, thank you as well. Thank you very much. And I know I wanted Mr. Dosumu to say something, but it's like it's not prepared for today. It's not ready to say anything today. Anyway, we will see what we can do again. Yes, I will also have to say thank you to Dr. Ati for being part of this with me, for not leaving me alone. Thank you very much for handling this with me as well. And I can't go without saying thank you to every one of you that are, all the participants that are here today as well. Well, this is it. From here to another one. So until another time when we come your way, I'll say thank you, God bless, and continue to enjoy your Sunday. From me, I say bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen.